Hi, and welcome to Introduction to Google Calendar with Joy Brungart. I'm just going to be going over some basics of using Google Calendar and hopefully give you a good starting place for using Google Calendar. So Google itself has given us 7 reasons to use Google Calendars, and I think they're all very good reasons. The first reason that they give is to share your schedule. And of course, this seems like the most basic function of a electronic calendar, that you would be able to keep track of your things and then also share them with other people. I find it very easy to share my calendar and events with other people. Number 2, get your calendar on the go. I use Google Calendar almost exclusively on my Android phone, and I know it's available on mobile devices, and it makes it really handy, and you can always have it with you. Which leads us to number 3, never forget another event. With the combination of it being available on mobile devices as well as being able to set reminders for yourself, you don't have to go to your calendar on your phone or your desktop. It will actually pop up reminders for you, letting you know when things are going to start. Number 4, you can send invitations and track RSVPs. So this is very important if you are planning events. You want to be able to keep a good list of who you've invited and keep track of who has RSVP'd so that you can get the right number of supplies, get the right size space. Anytime you're planning an event, it's great to be able to track RSVPs. And number 5, you can sync with your desktop applications. This is more for people who use desktop calendar applications like iCal. I personally have never used that, but I do sync Google with Facebook, actually. So I sync it with another application to keep track of events in that way. Number 6, work offline. And this is pretty important that you be able to see your events without being connected to the internet. So I think that's a really handy aspect of Google Calendar. Number 7, of course, is the biggest, probably, the biggest factor for a good reason to use Google Calendar. It's free. And because it's free, that makes it easily accessible to everyone. Alright, so now we're going to get started, and we're going to create a new calendar. If you have a Gmail account, you are probably familiar with your little app center here. To go to your calendars, you just click on the calendar icon. That takes you to your calendar that's just attached with your account. If you want to create another calendar for a separate part of your life, say I use this one for school and I want to make one for dance, I just go to my calendars, drop down arrow, create a new calendar, and I'm going to name this calendar Dance Events. Just a general description for this calendar. So I'm going to use this calendar to keep track of my dance life. Generally, most of my dance events happen in Kansas City, so I'm going to put Kansas City as the location. And now I'm going to click Create Calendar to save this calendar. And now you'll see that calendar pop up here in my list. And I see that the color designating this separate calendar from this one is blue, and I think I'd like to change that. We'll make that pink. Alright, so now I'm going to create an event in my Dance Events calendar. So every Friday night I teach a dance class at the Chesterfield Club, so that starts at 8:30. I'm going to mark this here, starting at 8:30. It's a beginner's lesson. And for more information and to get the exact time, I'm going to click on Edit the Event. Also, I want to make sure I have it in the right calendar. So I'm going to choose my Dance Events calendar from the drop-down menu here. And so you can see the change to pink, my color for Dance Events. Now I'm going to edit the event, and I'm going to start with the time. It starts at 8:30 and it goes to 9 p.m. So we just change that here. And now I'm going to invite someone to the event now that we've got it started. Okay, I'm going to add just one of my other email accounts. And now I am added to the event. So we can add others, of course, and you can just keep adding email addresses there. So I'm going to save this event. And I'm not going to send an invitation to myself, but you would, of course, be able to send your invitations once you've added your guests. Alright, so now we see the event on the calendar here. So let's say that instead of a beginner's lesson where I have people coming to me at a designated time and place, I want to teach a private lesson, and I want to arrange a time that works both for me and my student. So let's say I'm just going to start it here at 5 to 6 p.m., mark it as a private lesson, and I'm going to put it in my Dance Events calendar. I'm going to go to Edit the Event, and so we have this tentative time here, but I'm going to invite my guest to my private lesson. Now I have shared my calendar from my other account with this Fort Hays State account, and so I'm able to see my calendars, and when if you share calendars with family members or friends or members of a group, you'll be able to see each other's calendars if you allow each other to, which is great if you're trying to organize things together. So now that I have a second email address on here, and it's an account that has shared their calendar with me, I'm going to find a time that we're both free. So it looks like our tentative time is free. I'm going to put, let's see, it looks like, yep, my other person does not have anything in this time, so I'm going to suggest this time. Okay, and I'm going to save. And so now I'm going to send this just so the person gets that that's the time I'm wanting to have the lesson with them. And then they can let me know if that time is good for them. But I was already able to see if their schedule was clear or not, so that makes it easier to try and schedule events. So I was able to see that other calendar by sharing that calendar with this FHSU account. So if I wanted to share this calendar with that account, we would just go to, let's see, let's share the Dance Events calendar with that person. So I'm going to go over here to just one person instead of making it public or sharing with an entire organization. Alright. So I'm going to make it so this person can make changes to events. I'm going to add this person, and I'm going to save. Now I'm just going to go back to my calendar, And that makes sharing calendars a lot easier than trying to go back and forth with emails or, um, you know, trying to talk over the phone. You can just show each other what you've got going on. It's great. So another way that you can share your calendar is to embed the code for the calendar, say if you wanted to add it to a website. So for instance, the Chesterfield Club has its own website, and if I wanted to share my dance calendar with them, I would just go here. Another way to share is you just go to the drop-down list for the calendar, and you go to the calendar settings. You go down to the iframe information here. You copy that, and you can put it into HTML. Now, I am not great at HTML, so I would probably just send this to the people at the Chesterfield Club, and they could put it on their website and share my calendar. So now I'm going to go back to my calendar. So another way that you can share calendars is if your friends have a public calendar, you can share have their calendar shared with you, and it can be in your list of calendars. The same if you make one of your calendars public, you can share it with your friends that way. So earlier, the account that I had mentioned that I was viewing their calendar is listed here, and how I did that was I go to this drop-down menu, Other Calendars, Add a Friend's Calendar, you send them an email, and you request their calendar to be shared with you, and once they accept that request, then their calendar will show up in your sidebar. So one of the best things I think about a calendar at all, but Google Calendar in specific, is that we can add a reminder to any event that we have, so that I will get a pop-up message reminding me of when this event is. And to get a notification for an event, you just go into Edit the Event, come down to Notifications, Add a Notification, and you can choose what kind of notification you want, either pop up on your screen or get an email, and how much prior to the event you want it to come up. So I'm going to go with 1 hour before my event. And then I just save the changes, and now I have a reminder notification set for this event. Alright, so now I'd like to address a little bit of troubleshooting. So let's say you are so busy that you get lots and lots of event invitations and it's cluttering up your screen. What you can do to alleviate some of that noise is go to your My Calendars settings, go to your General settings, go all the way down here to Show Events You Have Declined, and say no. So that'll at least take away the things that you're not going to. And from here, then you just save those settings, and you're back at your calendar, and you should see a lot less events. So now you shouldn't be seeing any events that you have declined. So a little bit on how I personally use Google Calendars. I use them a lot on my mobile device. I have an Android phone, so that makes it pretty easy to see my calendars on my multiple Gmail accounts. I use my calendars to sync my Facebook events onto them so that I can keep track of things from that application as well. And definitely I'll be using this for school, dance instruction, and my volunteer projects in the future. It's a great tool, and I hope you have learned a little bit more about using it.